Hello. Today I'm going to be taking apart this toilet and I'm going to be replacing everything in it. The problem with this one was the chain broke off here and I just realized everything on this toilet is like 15 years old, so we're going to replace everything from the fill valve to this flush valve to the toilet handle to the bolts down there. We're going to replace it all. So stick with me. We'll get this fixed. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to take this hose out of here. When you take the hose out, just throw it in there or just let it sit on the fill valve. Next, you want to make sure the water has been shut off to this. Now I have shut my water off, so we're gonna, and you want to put a bucket under this, just a little container like that so all the water can drip into that. So we're gonna unscrew the water line going to it. And this one's 10 years old, so it's 15 years old, so it's stuck on there pretty good. And so you take it off. And it should drip all the water out. Okay, so I've got that nut loosened. Now I can, it's just gonna start dribbling water out. So what I want to do now is press down on the fill valve while I undo the nut on the bottom there. Okay, once you've gotten the fill valve out and all the water on the floor there, you can take out the handle, the flush lever. Now I'm going to replace my flush lever because the new one comes with the flush lever. So I'm just going to replace that flush lever. So it's a right hand, or it's a left-handed grip, so you gotta turn it like you gotta turn it right to loosen it. Take that nut off. You take the handle out. Put that there, and now we're left with this hose right here. I'll get the hose out too. And then now we're left with taking out these bolts on the bottom here. So I'll come back to you when I get that. When I get a wrench and a flathead screw on that flathead bolt right there. Now this one's all welded closed, so it's coming off, but you know, there you go. So I'll put that in there. I'll just loosen it, just so that the water will kind of dribble out of the bottom there. Once you do that, you can then get the wrench. There's a bolt on the bottom, and that bolt, you want to remove it. I'm pretty sure that the new one comes with a set of bolts, so it should be a pretty easy repair. So, set up the camera there. And remove that bolt. So, just wrench to where it all grab on that. Don't worry, this part of the toilet isn't dirty. It's gonna be a little dirt and dust everywhere from that gasket, but that's about it. So come back to you and get the other side done. So a bunch of this like dye on my fingers. Wash that off the sink. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do the one on the other side. I can't really film this side, but it's the same process. So once you've removed both bolts, you can just drop them in the thing with the water in it, and now the toilet bowl will come off. Now you can quickly pick this up, put it in the bathtub. I'm just gonna clean it out, so I'm just gonna like wash the inside just to make it nice and clean, because you might as well, so it doesn't get all black on the bottom like some older toilets do. And this is an older toilet, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna try to remove the flush valve portion. So I'll come back to you. Okay, once you've taken the tank off of the actual toilet part, you can then, I already cleaned everything off just so, you know, you take off this sponge gasket here. Ugh, that's disgusting. It's probably 10 years old now. Okay. So you're just gonna keep turning this piece and you know this isn't spinning, so watch how satisfying this is. Super fun. Okay, now time to clean up the inside and the outside of the bowl. I'm going to clean this one out. I cleaned it out to the best of my ability. So now we're going to assemble the new parts that are in here. With the new kit, you have the flush valve assembly. This comes with everything. And be sure you take this little cardboard thing off. I'll do that at the end, just in case you need to return this. It comes with the sponge gasket, and that's going to sit right there. Still going to clean that up a little bit. You get a fill valve, which I'm not sure if I'm installing that today or not, but I might. You get an assortment of nuts and bolts to assemble the tank to that. You get a handle. You get the stuff that goes on that and the gasket that goes for the fill valve. You get a hose with an adjustment wheel right there. Okay, the first thing you want to do is tilt the toilet tank on its side. You can even see in the tank. Yeah, I cleaned it out to that little bolt spot right there. That won't come off. I'm not too concerned about that. That'll be covered up. You want to take the second thing you want to do after you put the tank on its side and try not to get the chain stuck under it is to take the nut off of the flush valve. And excuse my nasty thumbs, are just damaged right now due to some work. So next thing you want to do is you want to put this in, and you want to put it in where that's facing the back. So you want it like when you're looking at it, you want it facing this way. So you make sure that there's a gasket on there too. See that rubber gasket on there? That's how you want it. Now you can kind of fish it around in there until you get it in the hole. Push it to the back like that. And now you can put the little white nut on it and thread that on there. I have to use both hands to do that. Wait, can I do it with one? No, I can't. Alright, I'll come back. Okay, you don't have to go full TIE fighter, but just hand tighten that down to the best of your ability. And that's how you want it. You want that tube facing the back of the toilet, because it lets you put the bolts in easier and the fill valve. So, and make sure that this chain, it's free, because if it's caught under there, you're gonna have a lot of problems later. Next thing you can do is take your sponge gasket, put that on, and now this one doesn't have orientation on it, so you can push that sponge gasket on there. And the next thing we can do is you can put the tank back over here, but I'm gonna first clean that up a little bit. It looks a little nasty, so come back to that. Before you put the tank on, you want to unpackage these bolts, and you want to put the washers and the bolts on. Okay. Now, once you have gotten these bolts on, I'm going to tell you, now that you've gotten these bolts on, I'm going to tell you guys the order of which these go in. So you first want the screw, then one of these black washers. Put that in the hole, then you can put on another black washer down here, this thin metal washer, and then one of the thin nuts. Now you don't want to put a thick nut on there. You can see the difference between the thick nut and the thin one. This nut is to go on the bottom of the toilet down there, and this one's meant to go right here. Once you've done that, then you can get the flathead and then a crescent wrench, tighten it down, you know, snug. You don't want to go full TIE fighter on it, because you're going to crack the tank, and then you're going to have to buy a new toilet. And for this type of toilet that's 20 years old, it's going to be kind of hard to find a tank for it. So this is what the bottom of the toilet should look like. You should have the flush valve in there, the red spud gasket, and then the bolts on either side in this order, and they should be able to push out or anything. They should be snug to make a nice watertight seal, because if it leaks, you are screwed. So we're going to get to the next step, which is going to be putting this back over here and putting the bolts on it, tightening it down, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you later. Okay, because my cameraman is not repenting for his sins not putting the toilet on, I'm going to go ahead and do it myself. I might not be able to record it, but if I can, I'm probably going to drop this thing. Okay, once you have centered the toilet tank on here, it's going to wiggle around, obviously. You want to push it down. Okay, so I've gotten the toilet tank on, and I snugged down the bolts, and I'll show you the order on the bottom of the toilet bowl, too. So, you want one of those black washers on the bottom, one of the metal thin washers, and then that thick bolt. Alright, unfortunately, the new toilet handle did not fit on this toilet. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, because the old one was at least metal. So I had to put the old handle back on there, but it doesn't really matter, because they're all the same. It's just that one's brand new, and it would look cool, because look at it. I mean, it just looks nice. But yeah, if you have a toilet kind of shaped like mine, where it's kind of like an ovalish shape, this Fluid Master handle will not work on it. I might use this in another house. I might use this in my other house, because the handle on that toilet's kind of funky, so... Because that one kind of sticks sometimes. I might just buy a new kit for that toilet. But anyway, that handle won't work. I'll use this handle. Now it's time to install the fill valve, so I'll come back to you then. To install the fill valve of the Fluid Master kit, you're going to need this piece, this hose thing. You're going to need the fill valve with the blue top on it. And you're going to need this bag of goodies. Not the one with the bolts in it, but the one with all these nuts and gaskets and things. So this one right here, you want to use this to install the fill valve into the toilet tank. So, the first thing you want to do is install the rubber gasket onto the fill valve, tapered side down, and that should just kind of slide on there like that. It's a little difficult because it's brand new. And then, now that you got that on, you can install the fill valve into the toilet tank. So just take the fill valve and then drop it into that hole there. Thankfully it fits. And then you can actually, it's better to angle it with that little pipe there facing out. So you can have the least amount of slack on that hose. Or have a lot of slack on that hose. And then you want to take this white nut here. And you want to put it on the bottom of this. And I'm going to put it on and tighten it down. And I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so now I've attached the hoses on here. This hose, you just slide it over there and put this little blue collar on there. And then that little wheel there, that's like an adjustment thing. So you keep that, it's like a limiter kind of thing. And then the other one's the same story. You just push it on there and then put that blue thing over it. And then you could put this into the tank here, or into the flush or the fill valve. So you want to push that on there. Okay, now it's time to attach the chain to the flush lever, but before I do that, I want to take that cardboard insert off of the flapper valve. And now once you have found the proper adjustment for this chain here, you can then, it has like a tapered end on it. You can take that tapered end, push it in the hole, and just drop it like that. Alright, now we're going to hook up the water line to the fill valve. This is an old water line. This is really cheap too, so if you have one of these, you just got to insert it like that. We all know what that looks like. And then tighten that down. Real tight so it doesn't leak. Just keep that in mind. Alright. Okay. The water line is on, and now we're going to turn on the water. We're going to eke it on just to make sure it doesn't leak. What's that I don't have? Leaking. Okay. So that's a good start. The fill valve is now filling up the toilet tank. We're getting water in the bowl. Final flush. Hope you guys liked the video. Bye-bye.